Hi ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel. So today's video intro comes from the van. It is a bit cold this morning, 0 degrees according to the dashboard, but we're heading to do some work inside, so it shouldn't really matter too much. So I've hoped you've enjoyed the last few videos. Make sure you go back and watch them because that'll give you a good idea about what I do. But today's job is just a single job, but it will be probably an all-day job. So plumbing in a chiller, so doing some hard plumbing work to 2 soft plums at the end. So we'll run through all of that. It's on a Red Sea tank, which has got a really nice install. It's been planned for about a year, 18 months. And then we'll do a bit of dry installation as well, hopefully, as long as we get time this afternoon. So I'll take you along for the ride. As always, I will make sure I get some permissions from the owner to record everything, but we will find out how that all looks and how we get on today. So just arrived at customer's house. So this is the Red Sea tank that's going into this space here. And then over to the right hand side, we've got the chiller, as you can see, mounted in there. So going to do some hard plumbing through this carpentry work. And then that will come out at the bottom. And then we'll work into there. So I'll keep updating you as I go. But yeah, let's crack on. This is the first part of the dry install of the plumbing. So we wanted to put ball valves here to make maintenance easier, and these run through the back and through the sides of the back of the tank. So at the moment this is looking like a bit of a nightmare, but it will look awesome once it's all done and we've pushed it all into place. But this is often what it looks like to start with before we get there, but certainly moving on nicely with this at the moment. So this is where we are at the end of the day. Lights on, reef waves on. Still lots of plumbing to do. Got all the wire management still to do. Piping's done, coming out the back, and we've still got all the pipe work to do in here. Always one of those things that in this job sometimes things take longer than expected. So we'll catch up again when I'm next here. This is the finished plumbing to the chiller, although we did tweak the soft plumbing coming out at the end, as you'll see in a later clip moving forwards. The plumbing was then dry fitted, so we're still at a dry fit stage in the cabinet itself. So this is the inlet, so we attached the TMC compact pump to the end of that barb fitting with some soft tubing to feed it, and then it all matches nicely. We connected it with a bracket to make sure it all worked well. Ball valves again for maintenance with double unions, and then you can see the pipework coming out the back. This is the finished plumbing in the cabinet, so all glued together, all solid as it comes through. You can see at the back there, that's where the water is going to return from the chiller heater, and that's where it's going to go in. Here you can see the soft plumbing is just been tweaked, so we've turned the chiller around just because there was a bit of a kink in that soft plumbing which I didn't like too much. And this is pretty much the finished plumbing work that we had to do on this tank. So did a little bit more tidying of the plumbing. Also have put some trunking around the back for some of the wire management, which hasn't been completed yet. And you can just see here a few more angles of the pipe work and the plumbing. Really happy with how this came out. Looks almost OEM, not quite, but the grey sort of sets it off away from the Red Sea plumbing. But everything else looks great. The customer had a bespoke lid built for this tank to stop his cats jumping into it, so he had to come up with a solution for the gap, as you can see here down the back of the tank. So what my wife and I did was we 3D printed some supports to be able to keep the aeration but keep the cats out. The bespoke control panel was also something that was part of the job, so I initially mounted the controllers, drilled some holes, 3D printed some plastic grommets to go into the holes, and then put trunking behind the door to make sure that we could run all the cables. The dosing bottle basket was also mounted slightly lower to let us mount everything in here, and here you can see some of the wiring starting to be run through to the controllers themselves. And here's almost a finished product with the dosing bottles in situ. Then we moved on to the most exciting part, filling up the tank. So as you can see here, we've got it starting to fill up with some sandy water. This is fresh salt water, of course. Some RO there, which we were using to top up the ATO bottle. And you can see here water running through the chiller. The power strips are temporary until Red Sea bring out their controller with its own power bank.
This is how the tank was left for the customer to cycle it and for me to come back on a monthly basis and continue to look after it. Back in front of the home reef tank after completing the install of that tank. Overall time frame from start to finish was about a month, about 4 days of working in total on that. Really good patience shown by the client to get a really good outcome on the build. There was lots of customization, lots of stuff to go through, and I feel like the heater chiller has worked out really nicely, and the bespoke plumbing as well as the controller board and a few of the 3D printed stuff. As I said at the end of the clips, we're going to go back and look after the tank on a monthly basis for the client. Also going to be dropping off salt water and fresh water on a regular basis for them, as that's a service that I also offer. So if you like the way that I've gone through this build and the way that I've built it, then make sure you do like, subscribe and do all the other things down below. If you'd like me to come around and set up your reef tank, whether that's a Red Sea, DD or any other tank in the Berkshire area, then do let me know and I'll be happy to help out. I've been Mark from MB Aquariums and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care, ladies and gents.